In the last file, we opened up a file, we wrote information to the file, and then we closed the file. Now what we're going to do is we're going to read the file. And remember that the open operation here actually does it all. Opening a file doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to just simply write to it. It means that we're just going to do stuff with the file. Could be reading, it could be writing, it could be appending. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the read operation. So I'll open it up for R for read, okay? And I'll say file out dot read. Let's see, what's the best way to do this? I'll read line, all right? We'll do it that way. Line, I'll call it line because I don't know what else to call it. Line is equal to file out dot read. Just like so. And you'll notice that it says self end, self limit, self args. There's all kinds of stuff that we can add to this read, which we will explore in a bit. All right. For right now, I'm just going to go ahead and go read just like this. And what that's going to do is it's going to read the whole file. That's what the plan is. Okay. So there's line. Of course, if we read the thing, we need to print it, right? Print line. And hopefully I didn't make any mistakes. So let's run this and see how it looks. We'll run test just like it says there. And it says process finished. Well, let's see, what did it do? Well, there I am running it. Here we go. Hello world in the new file. So we were able to read the file. So writing to a file and reading from a file isn't too hard of a thing to do. All right. So let's try appending to a file. What do you think of that plan? We know that the file is there, so let's append something to the file. All right. We begin, of course, by changing this to an A for append, and we need to change that back to the way it was, right? I think the easiest way is just to do Control Z's. What do you think? Get rid of that. File closed, file read. There's that part. There, we did the right. So now all we have to do is come back here and make that an A. And here we say space, because we want a space in there. A test here. Actually, I don't need a space because we created a new line. So we'll come over here. Here is some more stuff. And that looks pretty good. Save that, and we'll go ahead and run it and see if we get a crash, right? Run test. We didn't see anything because, of course, we didn't print anything back. So we'll come over here. Let's have a look at our work file, and hopefully it's there. And sure enough, there it is. We have hello world in the new file, and then we appended a line. Now, at the very, very end of this thing, we have our new line. And as I said in Python, if we bring this up real quick from when we looked at it before, I'm sorry, not Python. In the Macintosh, that new line is represented by a 0A, but on Windows, it's represented by a 0A, 0D. So that's how we know that we're dealing with a new line. What if I only want to read one line at a time? Okay, I just want to pick up one single line out of my file. So the way that I do that is I'll go ahead and I will open the file for read, just like I did before. Okay, and I'm going to say line is equal to file out dot read line. Just like so. And we don't need any of that stuff in there. And then, of course, down here we will print the result. Put that in parentheses or I'll be in trouble. And we're going to read. Remember, this file has two lines in there, right? So we'll go ahead and run this thing. And there it is. Hello world in the new line. Interesting, huh? Let's do this. Let's do this twice, right? Control V. And we will run it again. And it comes back, here is some more stuff. Well, some of you probably are asking, well, wait a minute, Dave, what happened to the first line? Well, the first line was read just like we planned. It went into the variable called line. But because we went back and read this file a second time, we overwrote whatever was inside line with the new line. Okay. What if we want to read a single character? Okay. File out dot read line. Well, let's see. How can we read a single character? Let's try read. And let's just put in the number 1 and see what that does. Okay. I'm just guessing now based on how other programs work. So we'll come down here, run the test. And sure enough, there it is. It gave us the letter H. So if I wanted to, I could write a little loop that could go through and read all of these characters until I run out of file, right? So we have to be able to test for the end of the file and that kind of stuff, which that's what we're going to do next. Okay, so what I did was I created a flag, done is equal to false, and I said while not done, I said that C for character is equal to F underscore out, which is our file handler, if you will, dot read, and I put in the number 1 for one character just like we did before, right? And then over here I said print C, and then when we're done we'll go ahead and we'll close the file. So let's go ahead and run this thing and see how we do, all right? And I'm not seeing anything, and if I look over here I see that this thing is in an infinite loop. Look at that, all kinds of stuff is going on here. So let's stop this and let's see exactly what happened. It came back and said that we had a keyboard interrupt. We come back here to the top and we see, oh yeah, we have our hello world, but as we work our way down, suddenly in the file here is more stuff, and then suddenly we just have nothing but garbage, right? Well, the problem with this little approach, number 1, is I have an infinite loop. It's going to keep reading stuff. Python doesn't know that we've reached the end of the file when we do it this way. Where before, if we read a line, it sees that carriage return line feed character at the end of the line, and it knows that it's done reading the line, okay? Or if we tell it to just do a read operation, it sees where the end of the file is because there's a special marker in there. In Unix, it's a Control D, and in DOS, it's a Control Z, all right? It sees those in there, and it goes ahead and automatically stops because it's looking for that. But in the case of reading a single character, it's not looking for that at all. It doesn't know when to stop. So since we're dealing with ASCII, what we're going to do is we're going to make life really easy on ourselves, and we're going to say if it's not a character, then we want to stop. So I'll just go if not C. So that means that C is null. There's nothing in there. It tried to read a character and there was nothing in C. I can actually say print into file, right? Just like so. And I'll say done is equal to true. And I think that the print C business control, well, it'll print it no matter what. So there's a couple ways of handling this, and I don't mind it printing a single blank character. But one way to handle all this, of course, is to do an else statement here. If not C, print into file done is equal true. Else down here, I can say go ahead and else colon, and then I'll put print C there. That should work, I hope. We'll see. Control C. Come down here, paste it in place, get rid of that line of code, save it, and we shall run it. And there it is. End of file. It printed it like it was supposed to, and there you have it. Hello world in the new file. Hello. Wow, that's so we've managed to print out our text vertically, right? We don't really want to print vertical text, so what I'm going to do is I am going to use formatted characters to get the same job done, right? So here, where it says print C, I'm going to go quote percent %s for string. That's a format character, and I think I use a comma here. That should do it. All right, so let's try that out. And it printed the S, so that worked real special. Obviously I made a syntax error, so let's figure out where I went wrong. It's not a comma. It's a modulus symbol, so we'll do that. Alrighty, now let's run it and see how it does. Still printed them vertically, didn't it? Interesting. I wonder why it's giving it to this way. Alrighty, here's one solution. I just simply did print the character, put in a comma, and I told the print utility that the end is equal to null or nothing. Okay, so now it prints hello world in the new file. Here is some more stuff, and then finally it prints into file, which came from here. So we have now found a way in which we can read a single character from a file and display it. So how do we write a single character to a file? Shouldn't be too hard, right? All we have to do is, well, we'll talk about that in the next video. I see that I'm running out of time.